y'all walked into a little earlier, they claim that they sense that a man was murdered. Not just murdered, but hung as well. They walk around the entire house and get the heaviest impressions in this room. Now, we've had a lot of people who are sensitive come into this space and feel a heaviness, feel like they need to sit down. We also have a lot of investigators come in with EMF detectors and they're going off full blast. It's not just in one spot, it's in multiple spots at different times. Now, we really can't say exactly what happened to Park Street. We don't know for sure if it was a murder or suicide. We don't even know if the property was connected, but we do know that this room is an affected room. And there's a likelihood that there is some sort of connection to Park Street. Now I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Greg and share a little more.
Alright. So I want to talk a little bit about this closet and stuff that Joe experienced with this closet. One of the things that we do know from Park Street's family is that the closet used to contain Park Street's safe. And so that safe used to belong to him, and we've had many mediums that have believed that there is a connection with the closet and his death. And so when Joe moved in, she experienced a wide variety of different activity as soon as she moved in. But within a few weeks, she decided to start tackling this side of the house. The past owners had left several things around in the closets and different spaces. She wanted to clear some of this stuff out. So her mom was still alive at that time, and they were going kind of space by space doing this. And they get to this closet, and Joe really begins to almost feel nauseous. She begins to just kind of almost have a little bit of anxiety or panic and worry. As she's doing this, she notices at one point that the closet gets super dark. And almost she looks up, and it's almost as if the closet is growing. It's like this just overwhelming, vast space of darkness that she could get lost in. And she steps back, like dizzy, confused, kind of freaking out and full of anxiety. And her mom is there, and she doesn't really quite understand what's happening. She's kind of freaked out by this. She actually thinks maybe Joanne is just playing a joke with her. But this experience would go on to haunt her for several years. She really couldn't explain it. It's not that she saw a ghost come out at her. It's like the room and the dimensions changed, and it just really bothered her for a very long time. And she learned about these devices called psychomantics. And these were devices that the Greeks had invented to get closure at the time of death or after death. And so the idea is that, sometimes when we have a loved one that dies, we don't get to say goodbye, or we don't have the closure that sometimes that we might crave or want. And so the Greek people invented these little closet-like rooms where you could go in, there would be a chair there, and there'd be a mirror in back of you, and a mirror in front of you, and you'd light a candle for some soft light, and you would just stare in front of that mirror. You kind of let your eyes gaze over. You ever done one of those like 3D kind of eye puzzles? That would be kind of the theory behind it. You just let your eyes glaze over, and then the spirit world might come to you. They might show you a face, they might give you a message, they might just show you some kind of light. They might be able to speak to you and provide some of that closure that you're looking for. And so that's what Joanne decided to do. She would create the same space. She would basically paint all the walls black to kind of make it very dark in there. She would put a mirror in the back and a mirror in the front and a place where you could light a candle. And that people have used this to try to communicate with the spirit world. And most of the time when we have guests that have done this in the past, they don't see Jolene, they don't see Park Street, they don't see one of the spirits here, they don't see Steve and Jet. They end up experiencing a mom, a dad, a grandparent, somebody that they love in their life. That's often the kind of experiences that people have had. Originally, after Joe had put this in, the door did have a lock apparatus from the outside of the door. We could kind of lock it. And we did have a couple of occasions where people got locked inside, and so we removed this. Other than that, we've never had any kind of negative experience. We really cannot explain, how that locked. I don't think it was an evil thing. I just think it was a playful gesture. But this is available during investigation times. So when we do investigations, we do have people that utilize it, and we'll try to investigate in that closet. Now I do want to point your attention right over here to this doll over here. This is Abigail, and I want to tell you just a little bit about Abigail. Abigail kind of came to the Swan several years ago in the 80s. You see, Joe, when she purchased this house, she didn't think it was haunted. She had heard rumors that it was haunted, but she thought it's just an old house, it's nothing. And immediately she started having issues. And she started thinking, oh wow, other people who have haunts, like maybe this is really real. And so she decided to do some TV interviews, some radio interviews, and just kind of let people know what she was dealing with. And people sought her out because they had similar experiences. And people also sought brought her out because they had dolls that they believed had a spirit attachment, other objects, toys, Bibles, paintings, things that they believed had these spirit attachments. And so they would seek Joe out and say, hey, you have this haunted house. Would you want to take my haunted object and put it in your haunted house? And Joe's a really nice person and often just says yes. And so she actually got a host of haunted objects basically all over the city and throughout the state of Texas because of doing these TV and radio interviews. Abigail came from that. And when Abigail got here, she was really quiet. For over 20 years, she really didn't do anything. It wasn't until 2019 when a show called It Feels Evil came, they reported here, and one of their crew members, they got sick with Abigail. For whatever reason, it had a very negative reaction to them, and they offered Joanne, the owner, to do a binding ritual. You see this case that she's sitting on? They actually housed her in that case. They dug a hole, buried her underground on the property, left her there for about 6 weeks, dug her back up, and then they put her in this glass case, and she's been there ever since, and they did a whole bunch of different prayers and different things to help bind that spirit to that area. Now, slightly after she was put in the case, we had a couple. They were from Lafayette, Louisiana. They did a tour. After the tour, they were like, do you mind if we try to get an EVP or an electric voice phenomenon with the doll? And we're like, yeah, sure, no problem. And they didn't have any big equipment. They didn't have a recorder. They just used their iPhone. And they used that voice memo on the iPhone. They got real close to her. And they started buttering her up. They just started saying, oh, Abigail, you're such a beautiful doll. I love your curly hair. Your eyes are gorgeous. You have rosy cheeks. Just kind of complimenting her. And all of a sudden, when they went back, they listened to that recording, you could very clearly hear, you can take a picture if you like. That was pretty startling and interesting. Since then, I've not really experienced much, but I will say maybe it's my imagination, maybe it's the truth, but the head position, how she's leaning, has changed over time. It is very difficult to get back there and to kind of move her, because the only opening faces towards the wall. You have to open it completely and scoop the whole thing out. So I can't always explain the positioning. Could just be, you know, a coincidence. It might just be that I have an overactive imagination. Any questions? No? Okay. Well, let's go ahead.
That picture right there.
Good.
Who's that?
So these are just like old bridal portraits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she's hosted a lot of weddings and stuff in the past. Just some antique old black bridal portraits. Yeah. Unfortunately, not connected with anybody in the property.
Okay.
Good question, though. Are you guys ready to continue? All right. We're gonna go outside and explore a little more of the ground. They're not new, not really, not the 1887, but the boxes and Bibles. Now there are old pieces of furniture that are as old as that time frame, but they're not.
Gotcha.
They didn't belong to. Yeah.
She did a good job of kind of adding
Yeah.
things.
She's a good
making it
tourist
look-
collector, and she loves to go to auctions and find cool things. She has some good taste. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and follow me.
Yeah, it's very still.
I thought you weren't afraid of bees anymore.
It wasn't a bee.
What was it?
I think it was a beetle.
Can you hold this so I can wipe the sweat off my sunglasses?
Yes.
Thank you.
It was super hot in that room.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know it's up there, but I know it's up with the chest. It was super hot when I was there.
Watch out for the poop.
Duck poop?
I don't know. Dog poop, cat poop, who knows?
Oh, they're going to that place with the park.
The gazebo?
That's why I said it looks like the park.
I think they have been. Yeah, we have a lot of bees, especially these big ones up here. They've been at least over 100 years. Yeah.
Bees?
Trees.
Oh.
And he said
I
bees
know.
have easily been here for over 100 years.